Stress headaches. So stress headaches and tension headaches. In the next few minutes, I'm going to let you know why my clients suffer with these, what brings them on, what are the causes. And if you'd like to discuss your headaches personally with me and get some personalised free self-care advice, then book in for a free consultation and I'd love to talk to you. So my name is Ellie Lindsay and I'm a therapist and I specialise in treating headaches both in my clinic here and online. And in this video we're going to be talking about stress and tension headaches, and for the majority of my clients, what brings them on, what causes them, because when we can have a deeper understanding of that, then we can actually look at how we can go about recovering and getting less of these headaches that really affect our lives. So stress and tension headaches are essentially the same thing. In some literature you hear them described as tension and some it's stress. And well, what are they first of all? Usually they present, so they feel like quite a dull headache around your head, and some people describe it as a headache that's kind of like their heads are being squished from the sides like this. So that's the typical stress or tension headache that people get, and they usually respond well to painkillers, although a lot of my clients are not happy about the amount that they have to take and are always looking to reduce them. But I also just want to mention that actually when we're talking about stress and tension, then this contributes massively to those other style of headaches as well, which are more intense and are one-sided around the eye or around the temple area. So when we talk about stress and tension headaches officially, then they present as this sort of headache that goes all the way around the head, this dull type feeling. But there is some crossover because stress and tension really impacts all styles of headaches, including these one-sided ones. So really I'm going to be mixing and matching and talking a bit about both of those today. So let's start thinking about the causes. So why does being stressed or being tense actually cause these headaches? So a lot of us are stressed for the majority of our day, and sometimes we just don't even notice it because it's just become our way of being, our way of functioning. So you know, we're just going from one thing to the next. There's very little time in between. We're rushing around, we're trying to get everything done in our personal lives, our home life, perhaps you run a household, or you know, and in our work lives, and often they're just not really enough hours in the day, and by the time we get to the end of the day, then we haven't really got much mental capacity left to even take care of ourselves. So a lot of us are just in this state of just chronic stress, and that may seem okay because that's just what everybody seems to be doing. But when you start thinking about the way that impacts the body, then we start to realise why that's a problem. So when we're stressed, the body is usually in the fight or flight nervous system. And what that means is that the body's getting ready. So it's getting ready to run away or to fight or even to freeze. You know, it thinks that danger is at the door, and it can't really differentiate between that danger being just a thought that we've had in our head about being late to a class or something like that, you know, or actual physical danger, a lion being at the door. So the response that our nervous system has between those two things, being late for something and a lion being at the door, is not much different because, you know, we're ancient. We have these ancient nervous systems. And the typical way that our body responds to this stress is that it will hold more muscle tension. And the reason that it will do that is because it's getting ready. It's getting you primed and ready. You know, if you're about to go into a fight or run away or even freeze, you need quite a lot of tension in your muscles. So the brain will actually hold that tension ready because it thinks it's being useful, and it thinks that you're going to need that tension in your body. And when we think about the fact that a lot of headaches, even these one-sided ones here, come from tension in the muscles, then you can see why stress can actually add to that. So let me give you an example. So these one-sided headaches over here around the eye and the temple area, in most of my clients, I see that coming from these muscles down here in their neck and their shoulder. So if you imagine that there's already some tension there anyway, and then when we are chronically stressed, or when we have a stressful day, for example, or when we're just, stuck in that pattern of overthinking, and then we start to hold more stress there, then that can easily just tip us over into a full-blown headache that can feel very much migraine-like on one side. So really, having a degree of tension in our muscles is quite normal, but when it goes over a certain threshold, that is when we start to have problems and experience these headaches. And often just going through a stressful period, or going through day-to-day stresses that just go on and on and on for a few days in a row, can be enough to just trigger this muscle, for example, into having much more tension in it, and then that triggers the headache. So I see that as really one of the main ways that stress impacts headaches, and the cause of stress and tension headaches. And these ones that wrap around, it can be the same thing with the muscles on the back of the neck. They can hold a large amount of tension, and then that starts to actually cause these headaches that wrap around the head. So the other things to consider are things like posture. So when we're stressed, we tend to hold ourselves differently. Our shoulders are usually a bit more forwards because we're not concentrating on how our body feels. We're just going into autopilot. So that can really impact these muscles in the neck and the shoulders. That can then cause these style of headaches, either around the head or on one side. So the way that we hold ourselves when we are stressed is different to the way that we hold our body when we're relaxed. And another way that is thought to impact headaches and migraines even is increased inflammation. And it's been shown that when we are stressed, our body actually releases an inflammatory response to that stress. And it's been discussed that perhaps the reason for this is that the body feels like, because we're stressed, there must be something about to attack us, or there might be something in our body attacking us. So we might need some inflammation to actually kill that off, whatever that predator might be, whether it's a bacteria or a lion at the door again. So our inflammation levels are much likely to be higher when we are stressed, and when we are chronically stressed, then we're just increasing those levels even more. And inflammation levels have been linked particularly to migraine as being one of the factors that can contribute to those starting, and to also the period of time that they last for. And lastly, really, there's the way that our body actually reports to our brain. So there are these receptors called nociceptors, and they actually report possible pain to the brain. Now, if we are stressed out and we're not relaxed and we're not in that rest and digest nervous system, then it's much more likely that those nociceptors are going to report pain to the brain. So our experience of the pain when we're stressed is much more likely to be higher than if that same pain came on when we were relaxed. So as you can see, there are a number of ways that stress and tension contribute to headaches, and I see this so much with my clients. But the more that we can actually reduce muscle tension and adapt our posture, then I find that to be a huge relief, because even then when we are stressed, then we've got a bit of a buffer before those muscles hold so much tension that they trigger a headache. And those muscles can just start to hold stress just a little bit better if we can release the tension from them. So if you'd like to discuss your headaches further, I would love to speak to you and give you some personalised self-care advice depending on what's going on for you. So just book in for a free consultation. We can do that over Zoom, online or video call, and I would love to speak to you.